Hello, I'm Annabella. Welcome to my first tutorial. In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can create this calendar from scratch in Inkscape. This text design was made from a bitmap image texture with a clipping mask. I used my 15 abstract painted backgrounds and I provided you 2 images from this set to download for free on my blog. I'm gonna put the link in the descriptions below. I also used my editable calendar moose blocks, which contains all possible moose combinations to make building calendars a little faster. The free zip package also contains January and February of 2018, both Monday and Sunday start, so you can play with it. But in this video, I'm also gonna show the fastest way I found to create the numbers from scratch. So if you want to make any kind of calendar in Inkscape, this video might be useful for you, so keep on watching. Let's get started. About the workspace, these are the 3 dialogues that I always use. They can be found in the object menu, fill and stroke, and align and distribute, and in the layer menu you can find layers. We're also gonna need a snap controls bar on the right. I like to turn on every option and then just toggle it on and off with this stop button or by pressing Shift 5. And we're also gonna need the rulers. These 2 can be found in View, Show, Hide, snap controls bar and rulers, but by default these are all turned on, so you probably can see them. Let's set up the document. Go to File, Document Properties, and choose the page size you want your calendar to be. Mine is gonna be A4, landscape oriented, and here you can set the drawing units globally. Mine is gonna be millimeters, but you can find inches too. Now I want to start with this January text so I can see how much space is left for the table itself. So I'm gonna type with caps lock on January and select this 80% gray by clicking it, and if you can see a stroke around it, just shift click this none. And then switch to the selection tool, and clicking on the object again shows the rotation handles. Hold down the Ctrl key to rotate it by exactly 90 degrees, and let's snap it to the corner, and click again to bring back the scaling handles. And by holding down the Ctrl key you can keep proportions, and I'm gonna turn off snapping because I want to oversize this a little bit so I have less space between the text and the edge of the page. Now we can place our guides. Just turn on snapping again, click on the ruler and hold down and drag your first guide. When the guide turns red, that means you can move it, or by double clicking you can set precise values for X and Y. Now I want this to be 5 millimeters away from the text, so I type +5. I want 7 millimeters margin on the right, so I snap it to the edge of the page and then double click and type -7. And from the top ruler I can bring a horizontal guide, snap it to the bottom of the page, double click it and type 7 again, and on the top I want a little more space for hanging, so I type -15. Now let's move on to our first lines. To select the Bezier tool and click on the first intersection and double click on the second. If you fail to double click, you can close the line with pressing enter. Now I want this to be 80% gray. Shift click on this gray color, and we don't need a fill color, so I click none. On the stroke style tab, you can change the width. 0.3 is good for me, but I want this to be a solid line. Now in Inkscape, strokes are always centered. If you zoom in by holding on the Control key and using the mouse wheel, you can see that the guide is in the center of this stroke, but I want its edge to be aligned, so I move this downwards and then make a copy by right clicking and pressing duplicate or Ctrl D. And let's move this to the top. By holding Ctrl key, you can move vertically and horizontally, and there are fixed steps which I don't remember now, maybe 15 degrees. Now it's positioned, so let's move on to the vertical lines. Click and double click. Align the edge. Make a duplicate and move it to the right. And I'm gonna duplicate this 6 times by pressing Ctrl D 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are gonna be the middle lines of the table. By holding down the Shift key and dragging a rectangle around them, you can select everything that are fully in that bounding box. And let's turn off the guidelines for now by clicking on the ruler and Shift click to select this line too, and then distribute them evenly. Now I'm gonna make guidelines where I can position the text. So I deselect this last line by shift clicking on it. Let's duplicate, and the right arrow, let's say 3 times to nudge it, and go to objects to guides. And if you turn on the guides, then you can see that we have guides there. Now to duplicate this top line, Ctrl D and move it. This is where we want to place the text for the days of the week. And let's duplicate this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Select, shift click to select this and distribute them equally. But I like to make 6 rows because this way every month can fit in the same template. I'm sure you saw those templates where the last 2 days of the month is divided in half, but that leaves you too little space for writing anything in the table. And this way you have a full box for every day and can use the leftover space for notes. To have the notes field, I select these lines and then resize them. Now we need 2 more guidelines. The top row and the last row. Select these 2 lines, Ctrl D to duplicate, press the down arrow 3 times and turn this into a guide. Now let's type our text. I start with Monday, and I'm gonna change this to Metropolis. Actually, Erica 1 and Metropolis are free fonts, and I'm gonna put the link in the description below. Metropolis, it's 80% gray, no stroke, shift click on none, and medium, the height is 16. I like it. Okay, let's position this to this first guide, and I'm gonna duplicate this, position it to every guide, and then just fix the text later. Okay, we need the notes text. Let's duplicate this Wednesday and move it down to the bottom guide. Let's type notes, and all we need is we can change these middle lines to dotted. Just go to dashes and select dotted line, and I want no lines on the edges, so I delete them. Okay, let's rename this layer and create another one for our first month. I'm gonna put this January to the January layer. I press Ctrl X to cut, select layer, click on the canvas anywhere, and then press Ctrl Alt V to paste it to the same place. And now I'm gonna lock this template layer with clicking on this padlock icon. Let's move on to the numbers. I'm gonna show you how to create them from scratch. This technique works with full rows of text, so we are gonna need 6 rows by 7 columns, so 42 numbers, and January starts on Monday, so I can start with 1 and type the whole January, and then February until 11. Okay, the type is aligned left. You can see this box on the left. Metropolis medium 16, that's okay. And then go to extensions, text, split text, and split by words. Let's select everything, go to object, arrange, and we are gonna need 6 rows. Don't bother what's in the columns field, just type 6 rows, align on the left, that's good, and set spacing. It doesn't matter at this point how much is the spacing, because we are gonna align this to the guides later. Now you only need to change the next month days to another color. Now this is if you do it from scratch. Just check if the numbers are Right, okay. Now if you want to use the moons blocks I provided, just look for a month that starts on Monday, has 31 days, and drop this into your document. Press Ctrl+Shift+G 2 times, delete the text you don't need, and let's scale it up a little bit and set the text. Now as you can see, these boxes are on the right side of the text, that means they are right aligned. Actually, Inkscape sometimes doesn't show the right settings, only if you click on the text with the text tool selected. So you can see it's open sans normal, 24 point height and right aligned. So now select everything and set this to Metropolis, medium, 16 and left aligned. I want to move this and select the first row, turn on the guides and move this on the left. And actually I haven't set the color. I want these to be 80% gray. Now select the last row and move it to the bottom. And I haven't changed the font size, as I can see. That didn't change to 16. Okay, so again, the first row, the last row, and then look for the row where the last number is the widest. It's gonna be this 20s, and move it to this right guideline. Okay, let's turn on these so they won't confuse us, and select everything, set 6 rows, fit into selection box and arrange. Let's check if everything is in order. Okay, and as you can see, these are the numbers we don't need, so we can delete it. Let's move on to the clipping mask. First go to Edit, Preferences, and at bitmaps, the default import resolution, set it to 300 dpi, so the image will be the size that's best for printing. And just drag and drop the image. I like to use embed, so this way if I accidentally rename or reposition anything in the path, Inkscape won't lose my image. Okay, so let's move this to the back by clicking this lower selection to bottom, or clicking and press Ctrl+G to group this image. We need this so we can move it around after doing the clipping. Shift click on January to select it and set clip. So this way, if you select this and right click enter group, or just double click it to enter and then select the image which in the group, you can move it around in the group and find the clip where you like it the best. And go to parent to exit the group. Now you may want to turn this January text into a bitmap, so you don't have to keep that large image in your file, because when you have all the 12 months in one file, that can slow down really badly. To do that, just select it and in Edit Preferences, a resolution for Create Bitmap Copy, I like to set it to 600 dpi, so when the vector turns into a bitmap, the edges are gonna be much clearer. Then you have a prettier PDF file. And now we can go to Edit, make a bitmap copy. Now if I zoom in, hold down Shift and nudge it, then you can move with larger steps. And if I zoom in, you can see the difference between the vector and the created bitmap copy. Now we can remove the original vector and move this bitmap copy to its place. Now all we need is the year, so let's type to 2018 Erika 1, and let's make it white and move this on this J. Let's turn off snapping and then resize it. Okay, there you have it. We don't need this anymore, and oh, we should save this file. If you want to save this as a PDF, just go to File, Save a Copy, and select PDF, and then you can select either to embed your fonts or convert them to path. If you used only free fonts, you can probably embed them, but with premium fonts you should select convert text to path. So this is how you can create this calendar in Inkscape. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to head over to my blog for your free pack. See you next time. Bye.